Hello guys, you're welcome to my Premiere Pro Masterclass. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create simple animation using scale, rotation, your position, and opacity. So the first thing you want to do is to come over here to your graphics panel. Then you're going to come down to get a simple basic template. The reason why I use a basic template is because they've already created a text for me. I'll just grab a basic title from here and bring it over here. So the next thing I want to do is to change the text to Jesus. The next thing I want to do is to hit on my selection tool. Then I can come over here and increase the scale to 400. Next thing you want to do is to align and transform it to make sure it's properly aligned at the center. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy this into 4 places. So I'll hit on my Alt key and I will drag it. So I have 4 different texts over here that says Jesus. So I'm going to change the font type. Let me select this. I'm going to change the font type to Impact. Basically, you can use any font type you prefer, but I kind of prefer using the Impact font text. So we'll change all of this also to Impact. The next thing I want to do is to create the time interval that I want this text to last. From here, I can see that this text is starting from 14.17. When I hold on to Shift and hit forward, it's going to move by 5 frames. So I want each of these texts to last 20 frames. So I've hit once. I'm going to go 3 more times. So basically, I've created the length. So each text is going to last for about 20 seconds. So I want to hit on Alt key to create a similar text like this. The difference is I want this text to, I'll hit on text here and change it from Jesus to is. Now I'll go over to the align and make sure that it's also properly aligned. I'm also going to go back and hit Alt to copy this into 4 places. And hold on to Alt and copy this again. The only difference now is that, let me make sure that I'm not cutting out. The only difference is that this time I want to turn it into different text. So I'm going to change this to King. And I'll align it, make sure it's aligned. Now I'm going to hold on to the Alt key and duplicate it. And change this to okay, let me off this tab so you don't see this lower layer. I'll change this to Lord. And I'll properly align that. So I'll duplicate this once more. And I'll off the lower layer also. And I'll change this to God. I'll off this layer once more. Drag this to the top. Oh, I didn't press the Alt key. Hold on to the Alt key to duplicate and then drag it down. So I'll now change this to here. What I'll do now is to separate my text so I can see what they look like separately. So I'll hold on to these 3 layers here. I'll drag them down. I'll hold on to these 3 layers here. I'll drag them down. And then I'll hold on to these last 3 layers at the top. And drag them down. So with this, I want to work with scale. So to make this happen, I'm going to move to the beginning of this clip, which I think is here. Let me confirm that. Okay, I forgot that I off this layer. So let me on this layer back on. So this is the beginning of this text right here. So I'll hold on to Shift and forward arrow twice to get to the middle of the text. Remember that when creating the length of the text, I held on to Shift and the forward arrow 4 different times. So for me to get to the middle, what I did was to hold on to Shift and then I moved it forward just twice. So that has taken me to the middle of my text. You can see from here that I am in the middle. You can also see from here that I am in the middle. So the first effect I want to apply here is scale. I'll come over to the middle here and I'll click on scale 100, then move close to the beginning and reduce the scale to 0 and take this to the beginning. Then I'll now move this close to the end and reduce the scale to 0 once again, and then I'll take it to the extreme end. I'll move to the next clip by using the down arrow. It has taken me to the beginning of the next clip. What I'll do automatically now is to hold on to Shift again and forward arrow twice to take me to the middle of this text right here. So I'll come over here again and hit scale here as 100, move close to the beginning and reduce the scale to 0, then take that to the extreme beginning, move close to the end. Oh, I think I moved the wrong text, so I'll move the 100, move the 0 here, move the 100 here. Now come over to the close to the end and move the scale down to 0. I will now hit this down arrow again to move to the next clip, hit on Shift and forward twice. Now I'll apply the same effect here also. 100% scale at the middle, go to the beginning and make the size 0 scale. Then I'll go close to the extreme end and make the scale 0 once more. Now if I come to the beginning of this clip and I hit on play, we can see the effects that we have applied is king. So I want to come over here. I'll hit the down arrow to take me to the next text here. So the effect I want to apply here is I want to play with the position effect. So I'll hit on Shift here and move twice to also take me to the middle of this text. Now I'm going to hit on this toggle on animation key here to indicate that at this point I want this text to be at this position right here. So I'll go close to the beginning of the text and select this scale property. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want these blue lines to appear. Now I will now come back to my position over here and move the position of this text to a point where only this blue line can be seen. So I'll now take this to the beginning of the text. Now go close to the end once more and apply the same effect. I'll move this to the other side. Now that that is achieved, I'll just hold on to this and drag it to the extreme end. So I'll hit on this down arrow to move to the next text. So the next thing I want to do now is to hit Shift and forward arrow twice. So at this point, I will apply the same effect. I will toggle on the position to indicate that at this point, at the middle, I want this is to be at the center of the frame. So I will do the same, I'll apply the same effect by going close to the beginning of the text, hit on the scale effect to pop up that blue line. Then I will drag the position of this is text to the beginning to a point where it's no longer visible. So I'm dragging it to the left of the screen. So I'll now take this to the beginning and move this line close to the end and drag it towards the right, like I did with the other text. So I'll now drag this to the end of the clip. Now hit on the down arrow to go to the next text, which is Lord. Hit on Shift and the forward arrow twice to take it to the center of the frame once again. At this point, toggle on position, go to the beginning of the frame, touch scale to pop up the blue line, then go back to position and move the position to the extreme left of the text, of the monitor rather. Drag the keyframe to the beginning, then move to the end and change the position value to the right of the monitor. And that would be it. So I'll hit on this down arrow to move to the next text. So in this other text, what I want to do is I want to mess with the opacity. So the opacity is the visibility of the text. So I come down over here to opacity and hit Shift and forward arrow twice once again. And on my toggle key here, move to the beginning of the text and reduce the opacity to 0. Take it to the beginning, come close to the end and move the opacity to 0 and take it to the end. So I'll now hit on the down arrow to move to the next text. Then I'll hit the Shift and the forward arrow twice once more to take it to the middle of the text. Scroll down to opacity once again, toggle on the middle to be 100. That means it's going to be fully visible at this point 100. Then move this blue line to the beginning of the text and increase it to reduce it to 0 rather. Take it to the beginning, move close to the end, reduce it to 0 once again, and take it to the end. Now hit on the down arrow to take me to the next text. Hit on Shift and forward arrow twice to take me to the middle. Now what I want to do next is to go down again to opacity, toggle on the opacity to be 100 at this position, then move close to the beginning of the text and reduce the text to 0.0, the opacity of the text rather, to 0. Then move close to the end and reduce the opacity of the text once more to 0. Hit on the down arrow once again to take me to the next text. Now hit on Shift and forward twice to take me to the middle. Move to the rotation value. At this point, I want the rotation to be 180 at this point, and I want the rotation to be 360 at the extreme end because it takes about 360 degrees to complete a full oscillation. So at this middle here, I'm going to type 180, 180, add that keyframe. You can notice the text is now upside down, inverted. So at this point, I'm going to add keyframe, move close to the beginning and just hit the reverse key. What this does is it takes it back to 0, the initial where it was, and then I'll drag it to the beginning, move close to the end, and then I'll change the value to 360 or 360, guys. Hit on enter, drag this to the extreme end. So I'll do that once again, move to the next clip, select. So let me go back to the rotation. Here I'll make the rotation 180 at the middle. Toggle on the keyframe, move close to the beginning, hit the reverse button to take it back to 0, take it to the beginning, go close to the end, make it 360. To complete one oscillation, take that to the end. Hit on the down arrow, guys, to move to the next text. Select it, hit on shift and forward arrow twice to take it to the middle of the text. Go down to rotation, increase this to 180 at the center so it's a partial oscillation. Then toggle on the rotation at this point. Go close to the beginning of the text and make it 0. Let me turn that to 0. Then go close to the end of the text and make it 360. Take it to the extreme end of the text. So now if I come to the beginning of the entire text that we have created and I hit on play, you can see the effects that we have applied to all our text. Alright guys, so that's the basic technique of how to create a simple animated title in Adobe Premiere Pro using your scale, your position, your rotation, and your opacity. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this video, and thank you guys for watching this video to the end.